everyone, this is Nina Young with Waffle Flower Crafts. I'm very excited to join Emily and many other talented crafters in today's video hop celebrating Emily's YouTube milestone. There will be 8 random winners chosen from all comments left on each of our videos. You can check out all the details on Emily's blog. The link is in the description. I have a simple card for today. This was actually made for the current challenge on the Waffle Flower Crafts blog. The challenge design team has made some beautiful samples using the In Every Way stamp set from our new release, so I decided to give it another try. We'll be using the flowers from In Every Way stamp set and a sentiment from our DT Mix stamp set. The flower images were designed for 2-step stamping technique, but I'm just going to use them randomly on today's card. And here's the sentiment on DT Mix stamp set that I'll be using today. Here's my scored card base. I'm using the flower circles die as a template to draw a circle with my pencil in the center of the card. This is our guideline. We're going to stamp the sentiment in the center of the circle, and we're going to stamp the flowers around it. But we're going to stamp the flowers first. By the way, this video is fast forwarded. I don't move this quick in real life. It usually takes me hours to make a card. I picked 2 shades of orange and a dark pink color for this card, but I ended up only using 2 of them and used generation stamping to get the 2 shades of orange. I'm starting with the darkest ink color and stamped them in a triangle to set the base for the flower wreath. All the flowers are stamped along the circle guideline, and I also rotating the image a little each time to give it a more realistic look of a flower wreath. Like no flower is facing the same direction, right? Okay, so now clear it with the baby wipe. I'm switching to the orange color. Stamp in the center. This looks good, and this is actually following the circle line. We were able to stamp them in a curve to form the flower wreath. And now I'm switching to the smaller stamp just to give it a more variety and makes it look like a real, well, I keep saying realistic, just trying to mimic the look of a real flower wreath. Okay, here again. I'm going to switch to a different color. So here is when I decided that I need another shade of orange. But I know the other orange ink I have is a little bit too orange. So I'm going to test to see whether the 2-step, the generation stamping will work on this ink pad. Wow, that's pretty. So I'm going to do the generation stamping. So I ink it up with the ink pad again and stamp it once again on a scrap piece of paper, and then stamp the second layer of ink on the card base. This is generation stamping technique, and this way I can get a very nice toned down lighter shade of the orange. It's really pretty in real life, but I think the video has cut down the details, so that's where the sentiment will go. Just beautiful along the circle line. Nice. Remember I mentioned that the flowers in the In Every Way stamp set is designed for 2-step stamping. That means we have these solid images, we also have the outlines. And the outline here can be stamped in the center of the solid images to make it 2-color image, like so. That's very pretty, but I'm just going to stamp them randomly. And I'm also use the generation stamping for this look. So I'm doing this, I'm lining it up on the scrap piece of paper so I can cut them out and just use them on some other card later. So this way I can get a nice generation stamping. What do you call it? I don't know, how do you call it? It's just the second time stamped image, lighter image on my card, and I get a, oh, that's very pretty. Okay, just keep stamping it, making it into a fuller flower wreath, make it into a circular thing, and usually you start with your biggest image, darkest color, and move towards the lighter color and smaller image. This way it's always easier for me to do them this way, but you can do it whichever way you like. And now I'm just stamping the sentiment in the center using my favorite black ink, VersaFine. Okay, I have to make this wreath again because I tried to heat emboss on my first card and I used white embossing folder instead of clear embossing folder as I was planning on doing. So on my second wreath, I actually changed the colors around a little bit. I think I should have stick with the previous color scheme, because this way the orange color takes more space, but I think I really like the previous one with the bold pink color. But anyway, so here's the second card. I'm just removing the pencil lines with eraser. This is pigment ink that I'm using, so they haven't dried yet. I'm very lightly rubbing them with within each of the flowers, so even it smudges a little, it will just kind of soften the flower look. But here I found a problem. My sentiment wasn't stamped straight on the card front. Okay, I don't know why. When I'm making videos, I'm making all kinds of mistakes or errors, whatever. So I have to cut this card front down because the sentiment is not aligned with the, I don't know where I'm aligning it to. Well, you probably wouldn't see it until like you're using a ruler or something. Oh well, I can see it. Okay, so here is a quick trick about how to trim your card base down when to align it to your sentiment. Okay, I just used a scrap piece of paper, align it with a straight line on the sentiment, and move it to align to the guide on my trimmer. This way I can make sure that this right edge is 90 degrees against the sentiment, and then I just put it against the top of the trimmer and trim all four sizes. This way I can make sure the sentiment is leveled with the horizontal line on this square. Okay, so I have to trim this cut from into a panel, and I'm going to mount it onto a red card base. This way we can get a nice red frame to frame it down a little. This is another trick. Okay, so here's my red one, and I'm just aligning it. That's very nice look. Actually, I think it might look better in being a square card. Okay, let's see how we're gonna do. At this point, I'm going to make this red card base into a card by folding the score line, and I'm going to trim it down a little so I can because we trim so much on the stacked panel, we have to trim the card base a little bit down so you can have a nice thin frame on every side. So I'm just putting it down there. I'm leaving the bottom of the stamped image, the stamped panel here, to trim it down and last together with the panel, so we can make sure if there are any, this is give us just more wiggle room if we happen to have something else wrong. Okay, so I've decided it looks better as a square card, so I'm going to trim it again. I just peeled it off. So this is why I always use the adhesive that's less sticky, so I can always peel it off if I have to make changes to it. So I trim it to a square and put it onto the card base again. This way we can trim the card base while the panel is on there, so we can make sure it's a nice edge. And I use a piece of scrap there because I'm afraid I'll smudge the pigment ink. So actually this looks pretty good. Well, anyway, I like this. Oh, it's pretty. I like this square card a lot better. So much better. Okay, thank you for joining me, and don't forget to check out the other crafters videos and leave a comment for your chance to win the prizes. Thank you.